Hello everybody, welcome back to another layout slash operating tips and tricks video. So we're just gonna get right into it. The next thing is painting your foam, which makes everything look much better and not just an eyesore of your green or pink foam like here. This was all green before. I painted it brown, now it looks a little better. And after you paint it, if you put ground turf on it and there's any ground turf that doesn't cover a spot, like right there, there's brown, so it kind of looks like dirt. You can do the same when you're doing mountains. When you put in your plaster cloth, you can paint it brown. Unless you're doing rocks like that, and don't paint the plaster you're using for rocks. Don't paint that brown at least. So it'll change it up a little, make it a little easier in your eye. You can also paint here on the sides, but I'm not going to because I'm gonna put fascia there. Okay, so that's number one of the video. Painting your foam. Or wood, if you don't have foam. You can paint your wood. The next thing is scratch building or kit bashing. So kit bashing would be like, I'm not saying these two kits to kit bash, but if you have a kit like this one here and a kit like this here, and you want to have like a garage like this, you can kit bash it and have this kind of as an extra garage or something. Or if you have like, or just mix up your kits. Like this kit here is just to put this building here in the corner where I have it. But just, you can mix it up even just a little by putting it like on the back corner right there or something like that. Just make not everything look like it's from the box. Like I did to this one with the tires and all that stuff. You can also, another thing is weathering your buildings, your cars, your locos. I haven't weathered any of my locomotives yet, but just not making it look, so making it look a little bit more realistic, like it's been actually being used on the real railroad. Okay, so that was a lot, but it was kit bashing or scratch building. Scratch building is, you can use a little kit bashing in scratch building. So that was scratch building slash kit bashing, weathering your cars, locos, buildings, whatever. And then you can also paint your buildings to tone them down a little bit so it's not as bright colors. So it looks a little more realistic, because sometimes you'll get kits with like bright pink or like bright yellow buildings, and you'll rarely see that. So you can tone it down a little bit by either doing like a dark wash or just completely repainting it. Another thing is visual breaks, such as mountains like this, or just a divider in the middle. So that you can, from your layout, if you come, for example, in my layout, you can't see the track over there in the corner. So that's a little bit of a visual break. So it helps it, especially in small layouts, feel a little bigger, and you can't see the train the whole time. Especially after I get this scenic, it'll be a much bigger visual break. And then the last thing for this video is, if you have a little bit smaller layout, if you have a little bit smaller layout, this will help with switching and stuff. Make a little bit more complex switching designs. That doesn't necessarily mean more switches, it just means orienting them in different ways. For example, right here, this isn't switching, this is just my runaround. But if you have industry that ends, let's say here, but a car there, just signify it. This industry that ends there and an industry that ends here. And you have a car here let me just find a car. And you have a car here. And you have a car here. You wouldn't be able to pull, you can make it so you wouldn't be able to pull this car out without pulling this car out first. So that kind of changes things. So, especially with a locomotive, get past the switch. Let's just say, for example, you pull the locomotive in here, you pull it over here, and hook up, and bring it all the way over here. There wouldn't be enough space because this car is in the way. So that makes it so you can have to think about it a little more, and you have to pull, so you would have to pull this car out first. This is one example. You can do that a lot of different ways. Yeah, so make a little bit more complex switching designs, and that's just 2 switches like this, and that makes it a lot more complex and a little bit more fun too. So, and actually one more thing for this video, it is making industries that can take multiple different types of cars, like my distribution center over here. You can take box cars, you can take gondolas, you can take flat cars, it can take, I could even have it take container cars too if I really wanted to. That way they could load up the containers in. So that's what, 4 different types of cars you could use at this one industry. I can't fit all 4 cars in here, but you get what I'm saying. You can make industries that are multi-purpose. That, especially in small layouts, multi-purpose industries means that you can have more different types of cars and a little bit more interesting things. So that's gonna be it for this video. Part 3. There should be a part 3. There's a lot of different things I can go over. And of course, the most important thing is just having fun with your layout. Yeah, don't listen to what other people tell you. You can have multiple different road names and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be exactly realistic. You can just have fun. So that means you don't have to do everything I say. You can just take little bits and pieces of everything I've said and just combine it to make one layout that you really like. So yeah, just want to say thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can hit our sub goal of 100 subs by the end of the year. I would really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.